Hello friends, my name is Patricia. I'm here to talk to you about the most important book ever called the Bible. The Bible is the living Word of God for you and I. It is alive and active. It has power to transform your life. The Bible is a collection of 66 books, kind of like a library. These books were written over 1,500 years by over 40 authors. But the cool thing is, all these authors wrote to point readers to Jesus. And I know the Bible is very old, but what was true a long time ago is still true today. God stays the same. God still speaks to us, He forgives us, He loves us, and He's always good. And when we read the Bible, we can still learn about who God is, and it can still transform our life. The Bible has two parts. These are the Old and the New Testament. The Old Testament talks about creation all the way to the birth of Jesus Christ. The New Testament begins with the birth of Jesus Christ, His life here on earth, and His ministry and the church, including you and I today. The Bible is filled with stories and poems and letters and even songs, and they are all telling one big story. And everything in the Bible is true, like how God created you and the whole world and everything in it, and the story about Jesus as God's Son. And in between, there are lots of stories written by all kinds of people. But the amazing thing about the Bible is all these stories came from God. You're probably wondering, why is it so important that you read the Bible? Well, great question. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 4, verse 4, people do not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Just like our body needs food to eat and water to drink, so does our spirit. The Word of God is what nourishes our spirit. The Word of God makes our spirit strong and healthy. But where do we start? How do we read it? Well, I'm here to answer those questions too. Step number 1, pray. Praying is simply communicating with God. By praying before reading the Bible, you can ask God to reveal Himself to you in the Word. Ask Him not to just grow your knowledge, but also to grow your understanding of who God is. Ask Him to reveal who He is in those scriptures that you're reading. You can also ask Him to lead you as you read and for Him to highlight to you what He wants you to understand. Step number 2, choose what to read. The Bible, as I mentioned before, is a collection of books. As a new Christian, I suggest starting in one of the gospel books. Could be Matthew, could be Mark, could be Luke, or could be John. These books talk about the life of Jesus here on earth, including the very good news of Jesus dying for our sin and rising to conquer death itself. From there on, you can go to Acts, where the Church of God was birthed. You can also simply ask God when you pray where He desires for you to go. Step number 3, read and meditate on the Word of God. The Bible is no ordinary book. As I said before, it is alive and active, and it has the power to transform your life. That's through reading and meditating on the Word of God. This looks like reading and allowing the Word of God not just to grow your understanding in your mind, but to also transform you. As you read, you'll see that certain passages might stick out to you, and these, I believe, will be what God is wanting to speak to you about. And now, I think you're ready to dive deep into the Word of God. See you next video!